for vastly improved governance at the state level, social cohesion, and proper accountability of administration with the active participation of people down to the grassroots level. Experience has shown that these tasks can be better accomplished in smaller states. Now, contrary to conventional wisdom, the role of the government has become more important in the post-economic reform period, even after the removal of licensing, controls, and other restrictions, which led to the widening of economic freedom for industry, commerce, and trade. This is because the state continues to be the main propeller for the provision of infrastructure like irrigation, power, roads, transport, and financial institutions, either directly or indirectly through the private sector or through public-private participation. Further, the role of the government in awarding contracts, choice of location for the private sector projects and technical institutions, decisions about the number, type, and location of special economic zones, land acquisition and compensation policies, various kinds of patronage extended to different enterprises and activities, together make a greater impact on the economy than in the pre-liberalization period, particularly at the state level. In general, the impact is in the direction of increasing inequalities between different states on the one hand and between different regions and income groups within the states on the other, particularly among the larger states. This is because official patronage tends to favor the better off regions and income groups already well endowed with resources, skills, power, and influence. This experience clearly shows that certain backward regions, if constituted as separate states, may use this enormous potential offered by state power effectively for their development. This is amply brought out by the recent experience with the creation of smaller states like Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, and Jharkhand. These states have been able to achieve much higher growth rates in their gross state domestic product, or what we call GSDP, than the targets set for them by the Planning Commission. In fact, their growth rates have been significantly higher than those achieved by their parent states, namely Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Bihar. Better governance in these smaller states has contributed to attracting greater private investment from outside, as well as the better planning and utilization of resources. This experience shows that the political commitment necessary for a focused attention on the problems of growth, equity, and sustainability can be better ensured in smaller states which are relatively homogeneous. An interesting consequence of carving out such smaller states is that their parent states become smaller, and for similar reasons of viability and efficiency, they can be expected to grow faster in course of time. An extremely encouraging development in this respect is in respect of Bihar, where the GSDP growth rate has accelerated in the last few years. This is a very interesting development in the last few years actually, This may be attributed to improved governance in this state, particularly recently, because, among other things, with the creation of Jharkhand, Bihar has become smaller, of course, become more cohesive and much smaller in area, with the size of its population getting reduced by 1/4. Among the general category states in the country, the growth performance of smaller states has been particularly impressive in the post-economic reform period. During the pre-reform period of 1980s, for example, there was hardly any correlation between the size of the state measured by population and growth rate in GDP. Over the last decade, however, one finds the emergence of a significant correlation between the size of the state and growth rate achieved. Smaller states such as Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand showing much higher growth rates in their GSDPs than the larger ones like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. This experience shows the smaller states have been better able to exploit the opportunities opened up by economic reforms. Several of these smaller states also show higher levels of per capita GSDP as well as higher tax GDP ratios, indicating their economic viability. It may be recalled that at the time of the formation of Andhra Pradesh, the strong consideration weighing with the Seemandhra leaders for integrating Telangana with Seemandhra was the chronic revenue deficit of Seemandhra and existence of revenue surplus for Telangana. Over the last half a century, however, with a steady growth in per capita income and tax revenues in both the regions, economic viability in terms of the size of GSDP or public revenues is no longer a constraint either for Seemandhra or for Telangana. As the Sri Krishna Committee observed, and I quote here, Telangana region, excluding Hyderabad, ranks 15th in the list of 28 states, excluding Andhra Pradesh, in terms of absolute amount of GDP. In terms of per capita income, Telangana, excluding Hyderabad, ranks 13th in GSDP as well as per capita income. Thus, from the point of view of sheer size of the economy, Telangana as a new state can sustain itself both with and without Hyderabad. This is chapter 2 of the Sri Krishna Committee report. Discriminating against the backward regions in respect of investment and employment. Maharashtra, because of its developed physical and financial infrastructure, has been able to attract disproportionately large investments in the post-reform period, whether from the All India financial institutions or foreign direct investment. But these investments have been concentrated basically in the developed pockets like the Pune-Nasik belt to the neglect of backward regions like Vidarbha and Marathwada. This has happened despite the constitutional provisions in respect of Maharashtra, unlike for Andhra Pradesh, to safeguard the interests of backward regions through the establishment of regional development boards with special powers to the governor for monitoring the progress. Clearly, politics of development have had an overriding influence, undermining the constitutional provisions in favor of backward regions. This has happened in respect of Gujarat also, where there are constitutional provisions safeguarding the interests of backward regions, but the same thing has happened in Gujarat also. But Maharashtra is a more very glaring case to my mind. As for Andhra Pradesh, I would like to recall first what I once asked late Professor K. Jayashankar. What explains so much discontent and unrest and vehemence for statehood in Telangana when compared to Vidarbha, which is as backward or even more backward than Telangana? This was my question. His crisp answer was quite revealing, which answered several other unasked questions. He said, Vidarbha has been neglected, whereas Telangana has been exploited. By now, there is plenty of evidence to show how Telangana has been deprived of its legitimate share in public investment and employment, and how the natural resources of the region like land, water, forests and minerals have been alienated on a large scale to the enterprising migrants from Simandra. Private investments from within the country and abroad are welcome insofar as they create productive assets and jobs for the locals. But investment flows from the developed to the less developed regions within a state often result in appropriation of jobs by the migrants, apart from the alienation of natural resources. Whereas such investments do result in stepping up GSDP growth rate of the region, deprivation of jobs and natural resources, and degradation of environment lead to discontent, unrest and tensions. On the question of various deprivations suffered by the people of Telangana, I can do no better than refer to the illuminating and effective presentation by the Telangana Chambers of Commerce and Industry in support of separate Telangana state made before the Committee for Consultation on the Situation in Andhra Pradesh headed by Justice Sri Krishna. According to this submission, among the category of medium and large scale industries in the state, 62% of companies were located in Telangana during the period 1991-2010. Out of those located in Telangana, as many as 75% were owned by Andhra entrepreneurs. The remaining 25% owned by those from Telangana. While companies located in Telangana accounted for 56% of total employment generated, what is revealing is that as much as 75% of this employment generated in Telangana belong to Andhra youth, remaining 25% to Telangana. As regards small-scale industries, till 2007, 56% of total employment was generated in Telangana. Out of this, 70% belong to Andhra youth, remaining 30% for Telangana. A case study of Hyderabad unit of Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited reveals that in the category of general managers and executives, 80 to 90% belong to Simandra. Even among the contract labor, nearly 2/3, and among staff and workers, a little over half belong to Simandra. As per the software industry in Hyderabad, the local youth do not constitute even 5% of total employment. What is more disturbing there are glaring instances of transporting and dumping the hazardous waste from as far as Visakhapatnam and its neighboring areas to the outskirts of Hyderabad, that too in the encroached government land. The above narration explains the paradox of high GDP growth experienced in Telangana, coexisting with mass discontent and strong demand for separate states. This is the question asked by many in the country. So much development has taken place in Telangana. All the figures show that. And why is all that? You see that something created by the unemployed politicians is like that. So I tell them, but you have to ask who has brought about it. What are the forces behind it? And that will be a full story. What is at issue therefore is not whether growth has been taking place, but how the benefits of growth are being shared by different sections of people. Therefore, when some of the protagonists of Telangana assert that the real issue is self-respect through political empowerment or statehood rather than development, what they mean is that the real issue is inclusive and sustainable development, which is not possible unless people's self-respect